Night on CTV News at 6. Deadly evening. One person is killed and another hurt after shots ring out in Timmins. They're on the front line of healthcare.
In the long run, they provide just as equal service as the doctors do, but at a cheaper cost.
Nurses in the north share their experiences. And protecting Ontario.
They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty.
The province's finance minister rolls out his fall economic statement.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Thursday. We begin in Timmins, where police are investigating a deadly shooting. It happened last night near downtown. Police arrived at a multi-unit dwelling shortly after 8 p.m. at the corner of 5th Avenue and Cedar Street North. Police say 2 victims were shot. One was pronounced dead at the scene, and the other was taken to Timmins and District Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers were still on scene this afternoon and are asking for the public's assistance in identifying the person responsible for the shootings. An update now on the 2 crashes in Sudbury yesterday that killed 2 pedestrians. A woman has been charged in connection with a fatal hit-and-run on Maley Drive. Police were called to Maley Drive at the Notre Dame Avenue on-ramp at 6:15 yesterday morning, where they found the body of a 37-year-old woman. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A 23-year-old woman is facing 3 charges, including failure to stop for an accident resulting in death. Police say no charges are being laid in that fatal collision at Atlee Avenue and LaSalle Boulevard. Their investigation determined the driver in that crash was not at fault and that speed, drugs, or alcohol were not factors in the incident. A 39-year-old woman was fatally injured just before 5 yesterday morning and was later pronounced dead in hospital. Charges have been laid in relation to the arson at a Sudbury convenience store last weekend. Around 1:30 Saturday afternoon, police and fire crews were called to Lagacé Convenience on Notre Dame Avenue, where a shed behind the shop was on fire. An investigation revealed the fire had been intentionally set. Police have charged a 30-year-old man with 2 counts of arson and breach of probation. The Brampton man who pled guilty to assaulting a police officer in North Bay last spring will be spending time behind bars. 21-year-old Sahibjot Singh was sentenced to 4 years in prison, less time served for his actions. On May 31st, 2024, Singh admitted to being high on drugs when he struck a North Bay police officer and 2 parked cruisers near the city's waterfront. Ontario Court Justice Aaron Lanevool agreed with the Crown that by attempting to escape, Singh became a present danger to public safety. He will remain in jail for the next 21 months. Singh also received a 3-year license suspension and a 10-year weapons ban. Singh has already received a deportation order. His lawyer says he won't appeal it. The Ministry of Education report on the issues surrounding the Near North District School Board was commented on yesterday by the Education Minister. Paul Calandra says the board isn't taking the matter seriously.
I shouldn't have to wait as the Minister of Education for a school to turn into what the Near North situation has for me to step in. And under the rules that I have right now, it is very difficult for a Minister of Education to step in to put a school or a school board back on track.
Speaking to reporters in Toronto, Calandra urged the school board to act. He doesn't believe the board is taking the matter seriously and is threatening to step in. He's emphasizing that in the wake of the report, the Ford government needs Bill 33, which, if passed, would give Ontario's education minister more power to take control of school boards, particularly around matters of public interest and expenses. In the report, the ministry issued 15 binding recommendations with a deadline. Near North's ETFO president is concerned the recommendations are setting trustees up to fail.
With senior management, and especially in regards to the director, I think that is something that the Minister of Education should take a look at. We were not aware of the credit card issue. In terms of transparency in that, it's not there. So yes, I believe that that's somewhere where the Minister of Education could actually help.
Hammond adds the report puts too much of the blame on trustees and not enough on senior management. Concerns in the field of nursing were top of mind at a meeting last night in the Algoma district. The Registered Nurses Association of Ontario is on its 11th annual fall tour. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
The recent meeting between nurses in the Algoma district and officials with the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario allowed locals to voice concerns in the field that they want to see addressed by the province. Among them, a number of changes directly towards nurse practitioners.
The equality in pay and recognition for them and the autonomy so that they can focus on family health, general practice, working at long-term care facilities, and having the government start funding them, because in the long run, they provide just as equal service as the doctors do, but at a cheaper cost.
Leaders with the association noted that recruitment is on a high across the province. However, they're seeing a significant number of nurses aged 24 to 35 leave the profession.
We do need to make sure that the retention of that cohort is critically important, because once you pass that stage, I think you set up your family, you set up everything. You're not going to just say, oh, I move, right?
Greenspoon says that retention and recruitment can be more difficult in the north, but the CEO notes that the Minister of Health is working on a human resources strategy for the north.
So reports and strategies will not cut the cake unless there is funding and actions that deliver the outcomes that people need. And it's not only one action, it's not only, and that goes for the province too.
A Ministry of Health spokesperson responded to the many concerns from the RNAO, saying in part, Ontario is proud to lead the country with the largest healthcare workforce and the highest compensation rates. Since 2018, we have registered a 100,000, a record number of new nurses, and we have another 30,000 nurses currently studying at one of Ontario's colleges or universities. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A major gas leak in Kirkland Lake that forced the evacuation of businesses and homes today is over. People were evacuated for Government Road between Water Lane and LaBelle Avenue. Provincial police were on scene as Enbridge crews repaired the damage. People are now free to return to their homes.
Approximately just before 10 o'clock this morning, there was an incident involving a vehicle which resulted in a gas leak in our downtown core. There was several businesses in the downtown core that needed to shut their doors for the time in question. There was several individuals that were also unable to go back into their homes. We did set up at the community complex for people that needed lodging or facility usage.
And OPP say the exact cause of the gas leak remains under investigation. Police add a section of road between Wood Street and McCamus Avenue remains closed to allow the Kirkland Lake Fire Service to continue its investigation. We all know it's coming, and we also brace ourselves for it. This was the scene at Algonquin Park yesterday. Friends of Algonquin Park posting this to its Facebook page. I don't think it's going to be too long for some of us to tell us more about a snowfall warning. Is that right, in our broadcast region? Let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. What can you tell us?
Well, I can't make this stuff up. Environment Canada, Tony, as I said last hour and this hour as well, 5 centimeters along that Highway 11 corridor, so Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Hearst, and Iroquois Falls, and parts in between as well. Low pressure system moving in, and as you see with our systems map as well, as the system is about to take over northeastern Ontario, snow to the north and rain to the south. So rain in a lot of areas and snow more northerly. So again, that could wreak havoc with Highway 11 with that snowfall. So take it easy on the roads. We'll take a look at the forecast coming up, some current temperatures and more a little bit later on.
Thanks for that, Rick. Fall economic statement still to come on CTV News at 6. Ontario's finance minister releases a financial blueprint. What's in it for the North? And the Supreme Court of Canada won't hear the case of a BC farm looking to save its ostriches.
We will never forget. Your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation, these heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
Money to help businesses build roads and infrastructure, and a deficit in the billions. Those are just some of the details in the province's fall economic statement released today. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
U.S. tariffs cast a dark shadow on Queen's Park and the latest fiscal outlook. Recycling the title of the spring budget, the plan to protect Ontario shows a lot of downward trends. The deficit is $1 billion smaller than projected in the spring, but it's down arrows for economic growth, employment, and housing starts. The finance minister says these trying times call for a steady hand.
They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty.
But there are few new investments here for Ontario residents and businesses under strain. There is $100 million more for a fund to help smaller businesses reach new markets. There's an expansion of a manufacturing tax credit. A $5 billion fund announced in the spring has only paid out $100 million to Algoma Steel.
We've been in the process of adjudicating those applications, and we'll be having some announcements real soon.
Not enough for the opposition. They want to know if there are strings attached to that provincial help.
Workers and their families are lying awake at night worrying about layoffs and plant closures. This premier still has no jobs plan.
The minister says the government acted back in the spring.
$30 billion of tariff supports, $9 billion in deferrals, $2 billion of WSIB rebates that are flowing to businesses so they can stay open, they can meet payroll and compete.
This plan makes official promises of $1 billion more for home care and a tax break for first-time homebuyers on some new homes. But with a predicted economic cool-down ahead,
the minister continues either to be deluded or to not being transparent when he forecasts a path to balance in 2027-28.
As the government builds new highways and contemplates a tunnel under the 401, it's ending the practice of setting greenhouse gas emission reduction targets.
They don't care about the fact that we're seeing increasing costs and risks associated with unsafe weather events fueled by the climate crisis.
Bethlen Falvey insists they're committed to reducing emissions through things like investing in nuclear energy.
So we're not going to relent, but we're going to focus on outcomes and not targets.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And to talk more about the fall economic statement, let's bring in Ontario Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy. He joins us live from Toronto. Mr. Minister, welcome.
Good to be with you again, Tony.
Okay, does this economic statement make life more affordable for Ontarians as we lose those jobs because of U.S. tariffs?
Well, look, we have a global economic slowdown. The tariffs are impacting economies around the world, but we acted early to support businesses and workers with things like a $30 billion support program, money's flowing out the door. We cut the gas tax and made it permanent, so that's putting money back into people's pockets. And, you know, just now we cut the HST on first-time home buyers of new builds by 8%. The federal government's going to do 5%. That's 13% up to $1 million. That's $130,000. It's another example of helping people with affordability, the dream of home ownership, and having that shot at getting a home.
We heard it in Siobhan's story. Your government is helping businesses like Algoma Steel, you know, $100 million. Cap paper and Kapuskasing. Growth in the province is going to slow, though. So how do you help those businesses stay afloat, open up new trade markets, and keep the job losses down to a minimum?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, you know, Ontario companies are incredibly entrepreneurial. They're self-reliant. They're resilient. And we increased what we call the Ontario Together Trade Fund. We doubled it from 50 million, tripled it to 150 million. And that's a fund that helps companies that want to retool, find new markets, expand their businesses. So we help them if they've got good business plans. We're putting money in, they're putting money in. It's helping bring jobs back to Canada, frankly, from other jurisdictions. It's allowing for more hiring, and this is targeted primarily to small and medium-sized businesses. But as you said, we're also helping those large businesses like the steel company, Algoma, which supports Sault Ste. Marie and beyond in the north. So we're going to continue to be there to help businesses and workers.
Mr. Bethenfalvy, is there any money for roads? You know, highways 69, 11, and 17. I know this is what you could call a mini budget, right?
I think of it more as an update. There's a few things in there, but you know, my big budget, Tony, was in May. We campaigned in February, got elected. We tabled our budget in May. That's the big footprint. You know, we have a $200 billion capital plan, which is part of the update today. So we're updating on the progress on Highway 69, 17, a whole bunch of other highways. We've got almost $30 billion in our capital plan for highways, and we're not going to slow down. We're going to continue to invest in transit and highways. And of course, I'll have my budget out actually in the spring, which isn't too far away, so we'll be able to update you even more of the progress that we're making. Mr.
Bethenfalvy, we only have about 50 seconds left. Rural communities in the north are having difficulty recruiting doctors. The North Shore Health Network is always closing ER rooms. We just got notice another one today. What is your government doing to help those communities? Where do they get service that they need?
Well, a couple of things. Absolutely, you've raised a great point, Tony, and you know we're very seized with that. I'd say just a couple of things. First of all, from the recruiting side, we have the Learn and Stay program. If you study, whether it's Sudbury or at Noisome or at various universities and colleges in the north, in the health sector, and you stay, you learn and stay, we'll pay your tuitions and expenses. We've expanded that to doctors as well. And secondly, we've put in $2.1 billion so that we can have more doctors in the north for primary care. Jane Philpott is leading that. So we're going to continue to invest. We're definitely focused very much not just on the north, but all communities across Ontario, and we're going to keep going.
Mr. Bethenfalvy, we're all out of time. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Tony.
That was Finance Minister Peter Bethenfalvy. So from politics to the weather, here's Rick now with a check on your current conditions.
Tony, how do I follow that up on the Finance Minister? Good stuff. Let's check out our sunrise sunset readings for this evening. Okay, this is happening for tomorrow. Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, North Bay. Sunrise 7:15, 7:28, 7:21, 7:12, and 7:08. Sunset tomorrow 5 o'clock, 5:13, 4:56, 4:52, and 4:54. Sunrise, sunset. Current temperatures right across northeastern Ontario. Moosoody -5, Cochrane -2, Timmins -1, and Kapuskasing -2 as well. 0 in Chapleau, Wawa 3, Sault Ste. Marie, clear skies and 4 for this evening. Parry Sound, we've got 4 as well. Meanwhile, in North Bay, 0. A few clouds. Temiskaming Shores -1, Kirkland Lake -2, Greater Sudbury, we're stuck at 0 right now. Espanola 1, Elliott Lake 1, and Gore Bay at +4. Tony, 7-day forecast pick of the day coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Its budget is cut. Next on CTV News at 6. How will a budget reduction impact Stats Can and the work it does? And flight attendants at WestJet are in a strike position. When could they walk? The first confidence vote connected to the federal budget is set for tonight, with MPs voting on a budget sub-amendment by the Conservatives. It says the budget fails to consider that government spending comes out of the pockets of Canadians and that it doesn't bring the deficit down to the $42 billion promised in the Liberals' last fiscal update. The Conservatives are also targeting what they call the hidden taxes on food and the inflation tax. They're also criticizing the budget for not including a plan for pipelines. The NDP already says it plans to vote against the amendment, meaning the government will survive.
Is the government going to fall, or is the government going to live?
On the vote today?
Yeah.
Yes, on the vote today. Conservative amendment? Yeah. Well, we're not supporting it.
No. What about tomorrow?
What about that block one? We're still studying that motion, but the one today we're definitely voting against.
What
because the Conservatives want, massive cuts to public spending. That's exactly the opposite direction that we Democrats think we need to go in, which is investing in Canadian economy at this point. So there's absolutely no way we're going to support the Conservative motion today.
While the NDP will not be supporting the Conservatives, it's yet to be seen if this budget will pass. Some of the proposed cuts in the federal budget could impact Statistics Canada, limiting what research it can do. CTV's Abigail Beeman has that story.
It really worries me.
Munir Sheikh resigned as Canada's chief statistician over the Harper government's 2010 decision to kill the long-form census. Today, he's concerned about new Statistics Canada cuts in the budget, saying Canada already has substantial data gaps, which will now multiply.
Cuts at an organization like Statistics Canada is an indication that our country is getting poorer, and we can't afford to do the things that are an absolute necessity.
Deep in the budget annex, under department-specific cuts, it reads, the frequency of data collection will be reduced where the requirements can be met through statistical modeling or other modern methods. In addition, adjustments will be made to the frequency and level of detail collected for data sets which demonstrate less relevance to Canadians. CTV News asked Statistics Canada and the Finance Department a whole slew of questions. What type of data will be collected less often? What will be collected with fewer details? And who decides what has less relevance for Canadians? They didn't answer any of them. In a statement, a Department of Finance official said further details on savings under the Comprehensive Expenditure Review will be available through Statistics Canada in due course.
Lack of information always makes me nervous.
Biostatistician Erica Moody says the work of Statistics Canada is critical, from government to business to community groups to your personal life, and less of it is worrying.
Cuts to these data or data collection, the fineness of this data collection could impact things like transit lines in my neighborhood. On the other side, as a researcher, it also affects the work done by my students.
Oh, and from our archives, among those in support of Statistics Canada during the long-form census death fiasco, then Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney.
We will need to evaluate the impact of any proposed changes.
The former head of Statistics Canada warns if the Canadian economy gets worse, even further and worse cuts to data are very possible. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Supreme Court of Canada has ruled it will not hear a last-ditch appeal from a BC ostrich farm to save the birds. Universal Ostrich Farms had already lost legal challenges in federal court and the Federal Court of Appeal. It's been 10 months since the Canadian Food Inspection Agency ordered a cull because of an outbreak of bird flu and worries about containing the spread. The Supreme Court briefly delayed the cull in September while it decided whether or not to hear the case itself. Now that it's decided not to, there's no longer any legal barrier against the culling of more than 300 ostriches. Travel woes could be on the horizon for Canadians as WestJet's flight attendants move closer to their strike date. As CTV's Alicia Fieldberg explains, Canadians are still reeling from Air Canada's strike and are following the WestJet bargaining closely.
Flown WestJet? Now you're part of the Ultra Extra Basic Club.
It looks like a WestJet advertisement, but this video pokes fun at the airline's new non-reclining seats and takes aim at working conditions for flight attendants. With its contract set to expire December 31st, the flight attendants union wants the public to know what's at stake.
This message is about respect. It's about fair pay.
Flight attendants want to be paid for their work and their time. Right now, they're only compensated for time the plane is in the air, often doing hours of unpaid work each day.
Flight attendants at WestJet are still working about 35 hours every month unpaid. That means, especially for the new flight attendants, often when you factor in those unpaid hours, they're not even making minimum wage.
The federal NDP has introduced a bill to end unpaid work by flight attendants, but experts say the clock is ticking if WestJet and the union don't reach a deal.
Which one of these will reach home plate before the other? Whether we go on a strike with flight attendants on WestJet or does the legislation, get passed? WestJet, spring break, iffy.
The same issue sparked an Air Canada flight attendant strike in August, halting flights for 3.5 days until the federal government ordered them back to work, with arbitrators still working out the contract. Airlines are supposed to compensate those impacted travelers, but months later, some are still waiting.
Air Canada has not been fulfilling its obligations to passengers, and it is trying to just make it very difficult for passengers to recover. That's reprehensible.
It's on some Calgarians' minds as they consider booking flights.
Usually the best ones are like Air Canada, WestJet, but of course with the strike, I just have all this doubts.
Passenger advocates say there are no quick fixes to protect your plans or money, but stronger rules and stricter enforcement could help.
There's no insurance for the airlines flouting the law. The only way is, in my view, is to speak to your federal members of parliament and tell them you want proper passenger protection.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
There's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Big news tonight, Tony. 93 days till the Winter Olympics, and we've got winter weather in northeastern Ontario. Just thought I would tie that in for this evening. Forecast radar, here we go, with a system that's going to affect Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, and Hearst, Iroquois Falls, and one of my favorite spots, Moonbeam, just off Highway 11. So again, 5 centimeters of snow for this evening, 5 to 10 for tomorrow. How about that for the first taste of winter, in all honesty? Overnight conditions, snow, rain, Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, chance of showers. Snow, as I said, Timmins, 5 centimeters. Temiskaming Shores, flurries, snow, rain mix in North Bay as well. Meanwhile, in Moosonee, chance of flurries, Hearst, again, 5 centimeters of snow. Wawa, snow, rain in Gore Bay and Perry Sound, showers, flurries, and 1 degree. Here we go now with our Sudbury Nickel Belt 7-day forecast. Rain tomorrow at 4, sun and clouds Saturday. Sunday, some cloud cover. Monday, chance of flurries. Tuesday, some cloud cover, and Wednesday back to sleet. Take a look at the temperatures. Modest at this time compared to some areas, as you were about to see. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, rain tomorrow, sun and clouds Saturday, sunshine on Sunday. Monday, cloud cover, more of the same on Tuesday, Remembrance Day. High of 3 in the area, then the chance of showers Wednesday. So more rain south, mixed precipitation more in the area of northern communities. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, here we go. Snow 5 to 10 centimeters for tomorrow along that Highway 11 corridor, 2 degrees, -7 on Saturday, -5 Sunday. Monday, chance of flurries, Remembrance Day, cloud cover -1. Wednesday, chance of flurries and a high of +1. Moving on over to Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, snow rain mix tomorrow at 3. -4 Saturday, sun and cloud. Sunday, we've got cloud cover -5. Monday, we've got the chance of flurries. Tuesday, cloud cover, Remembrance Day. And Wednesday, again, flurries and a high of +1. So it's either going to be mixed precipitation or flurries by next Wednesday anyways, but a hint of the snowfall, especially in northeastern Ontario, with communities like Timmins and Temiskaming Shores getting an early start to some precipitation. North Bay, West Nipissing, here we go. Rain tomorrow at 4, -2 Saturday, cloud cover. Cloud cover again on Sunday, -4 degrees. Monday, we got the chance of flurries. Tuesday, cloud cover. Wednesday, chance of flurries and 2 degrees. So for Remembrance Day, and a lot of people will be out at various ceremonies across northeastern Ontario. Temperatures should be reasonable. Cloud cover right across the northeast. And again, our normal temperature for this time of the year should be sitting at around 3 or 4 degrees, depending on your locale. Let's have a look now at our pick of the day. Et voila. Here we go. Afton Township, Emerald Lake, great shot there. And again, I like the mix, I like the color, I like the shot. That is a great submission. I appreciate that. Afton Township. Sir, I have to look that up on the map, and again, it's one area that I think we should all check out at one time or another. So again, great shot. Thanks for the submission. We're back tomorrow with more. Stick around. Tony has more news coming up after the break.
You may have thought about installing solar panels on your home to do your part for the environment and save money on your energy bill. There are government incentives and rebates, but solar panels are still a major investment, and there are many things to consider. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Osvaldo Guzman of Scarborough had solar panels installed on his home 4 years ago. He says he wanted to do his part to help the environment and lower his energy costs.
I want to go green, and the other save some money. Unfortunately, I didn't get any money back or saved money.
Guzman paid $40,000 for the solar panels and installation, but a year later there was a problem.
My system was broken, and the company didn't, respond.
Guzman says to get the system working again, he had to pay $10,000 for repairs. He says his total monthly savings on his energy bill is $100 a month. If you're thinking of installing solar panels, you could have problems with animals getting under them and snow and ice buildup. Before getting them, you also need to check with your insurance company to make sure you're covered.
But if they found out you had solar panels that did not fit within their eligibility rules, they could make the case that they would not have wrote the policy in the first place to begin with, and that could lead to a denied claim. Could be a very costly mistake.
There may be restrictions on how much power you can generate, and while you may save money on electricity, your insurance premiums could go up.
It's ultimately going to increase the rebuild value of your dwelling, so you will see an increase in premiums on that front as well.
Having solar panels on your home could also affect your home's resale value, as there may be buyers who don't want to deal with them or take over existing agreements. In the event you need a new roof, you may need to pay to remove the panels and reinstall them. They may be a good choice for some, but you need to do your research. Guzman says he wouldn't do it again.
No, never. No. I think the solar panel is for Florida, Miami, the nice weather, where it's sun all day, all year. But here we have maybe 4 months and that's it.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The Rainbow District School Board's Think Trades initiative is expanding thanks to an investment from 2 Greater Sudbury companies. CTV's Lindsay Aylick tells us more.
Have tools, will travel. It's the slogan for Rainbow District School Board's Think Trades initiative. What started as a pilot program 2 years ago now has a new truck and trailer to take trades education on the road.
It allows us to thrive in our program. We've received a donation of a few more tools now, so there's more hands-on when we come to a classroom. And then again, students aren't waiting for tools. They've got access to them right away. And then the transportation is huge. The Rainbow District School Board is very big geographically. So I mean, we cover schools from Manettville to Gore Bay. So be able to bring that opportunity to them is very crucial.
The hope is that investments like this can help with the growing demand for skilled trades workers.
It's no secret. There's a struggle right now finding skilled trades workers. Lopes, and I think every industrial contractor can speak to that as well. It's challenging for sure, but we hope that programs like this and getting involved with students will encourage them to explore opportunities in the trades, whether that's with Lopes or with another company. We just hope that they can find their passion within the trades.
The new equipment was unveiled at Alexander Public School as grade 8 students had access to safety equipment and a variety of tools which were used to create a multi-trade toolbox.
It consists of working with wood, aluminum, some 3D design, 3D printing, some graphic design, and a little bit of plumbing thrown in as well. Just a chance to introduce a lot of trades and possible career opportunities for students.
It's a new experience. I haven't really gotten a chance to do this before, but I'm finding it pretty fun.
I get to use all these cool tools that I've never used before. So I think it's really cool, and it's like nice having help to do it too.
Lopes sits in its second year of a 10-year commitment of giving $100,000 to elementary and secondary students through trades programs. Lindsay Aylick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Officials at the North Shore Health Network say that the Richards Landing Matthews site is going to be closed tomorrow. The site is expected to reopen Saturday, November 8th at 8 a.m. Thessalon, Blind River, and Sioux Area Hospital remain open for patient care. For medical emergencies, call 911. New statistics show Northern Ontario is seeing more toxic drug overdoses than the rest of the province. Public Health Sudbury District says data from Ontario's Chief Coroner's Office shows rates in the region are more than triple the number in Southern Ontario for drug deaths. From January to September this year, there have been 89 suspected drug-related deaths in the Sudbury-Manitoulin districts alone. Public Health saying it hopes sharing this information will increase awareness about the issue.
In addition to the toxic drugs crisis, our substances may be different in the north, but we also know that we may have lack of access to services, health services, mental health services, treatment and addiction services. Our type of work might be different in the north, more labor work.
Public Health is also issuing a warning this week as additives to the illicit drug supply are leading to heavier sedation and overdoses. You could call it a special treat. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. A member of Blue Rodeo dropped into a Moncton soup kitchen to give a little performance.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Prince Harry is in Toronto visiting veterans ahead of Remembrance Day. He's also saying, "I'm sorry" to Blue Jays fans after wearing an LA Dodgers hat during the World Series. The Prince spoke exclusively to CTV about it as he met with some of the country's oldest war heroes. Here's CTV's John Venavelli-Rao.
The Prince's visit took him to Toronto's Sunnybrook Veterans Centre, the biggest care facility of its kind in the country.
How old are you now? Almost 102.
Here, Prince Harry met with some of the nation's oldest veterans who served in either the Second World War or the Korean War, and the Prince seeming to really enjoy himself.
For me, it's the banter. It's the banter, it's the humor, it's the community that they are given here.
Here, veterans are taking part in creative art therapies, where both art and music are used to help vets with their physical and mental health. Brenda Reed, who's 101, thrilled to meet the Prince.
He certainly has lots of charm. You just talk to him. I practically called him Harry.
Prince Harry's, of course, a veteran himself. He did 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan with the British Armed Forces, saying he's just one of a long list of family members to visit veterans here.
My aunt's been here, grandmother's been here, my great-grandmother's been here. So it's a real privilege for me to be able to be here.
The Prince helping to paint poppies on a military helmet, one of several being auctioned off by the military charity True Patriot Love.
I just wanted to give you the offer.
And towards the end of the visit, a moment of levity, the Prince was presented with a Blue Jays hat. He was widely criticized across the country after being spotted at Dodgers Stadium sporting a Dodgers hat during the World Series.
I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes.
As for the veterans,
it was really special.
They seemed pleased to meet the Prince. And for the veterans, the Prince's visit was another reminder that their service is not forgotten. John Venavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, the North Bay Police Service is claiming victory tonight in a friendly challenge. The 5th Annual Emergency Services Manicure Challenge raised more than $4,500 for the CIBC Run for the Cure. Over $2,200 of that total was collected by police services. The winning team earns the honor of painting the nails of the other participating services pink to be worn proudly for 1 week. Just one Northern team was in action last night over in the OHL. Sioux Greyhounds fell to the visiting Flint Firebirds in a close matchup over at GFL Memorial Gardens. The Hounds were defeated 3-2. On deck tonight, Sudbury Wolves head to Barrie to face off against the Colts. Game time is 7 o'clock. Clients of a Moncton soup kitchen got a special treat over the lunch hour today when a member of one of Canada's most beloved bands stopped by for a performance. CTV's Derek Haggett reports.
Blue Rodeo keyboardist Mike Boguski has been playing intimate shows at soup kitchens all across Canada during the band's ongoing tour. Today, it was the Caring Kitchen's turn.
Every town has one of these, right? So every town I've gone to, I've just sort of called the local food shelter in that town the day before, say, hey, it's Mike from Blue Rodeo. If I email them, they think I'm making it up.
Raised up on to a life that's second rate. A band member since 2008, Boguski does these low-key shows because he wants to give back. He feels blessed to be part of an incredible band, so he's playing for the less fortunate while they eat.
Life is challenging, food is expensive, and it's just very meaningful for me to be able to share music with people who can't afford the shows.
For some, this is the only balanced meal they'll have today, so a little music to go with it is greatly appreciated.
I was quite surprised, and I think it's a treat, and it made my day.
It's also special for staff and volunteers.
We've had a few fellows with their guitar or something who come in and play, or just local groups, but this is absolutely a first. It's a tremendous thrill for us.
As for Blue Rodeo's lasting appeal, Boguski says founding members Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler have a way of writing music that speaks to people.
Jim and Greg just have a thing. They know what they're doing. Everyone loves the Beatles and everybody loves classic country. Everybody loves the Everly Brothers. You put those three things together and you make a stew, and it tastes pretty good.
Many don't even know he's part of the beloved band, and that's just fine with him. Boguski will be performing on a slightly larger stage tomorrow night when he and his bandmates from Blue Rodeo play the Avenir Centre. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Dame Helen Mirren is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it will feel like a lifetime to fans of K-pop Demon Hunters as Netflix announces the sequel's release date. David Daniel has tonight's Hollywood Report.
It's time.
K-pop Demon Hunters fans may have to wait a while for the sequel. Bloomberg reports Netflix and Sony are planning to bring out K-pop Demon Hunters 2 in 2029. The animated musical fantasy adventure is Netflix's most popular movie ever, and a sing-along version in theaters topped the weekend box office 2 months after the film debuted on streaming. Dame Helen Mirren has 3 Golden Globes, as well as an Oscar, a Tony, 4 Emmys, and other trophies. Now she's headed back to the Globes. The actress is the 2026 Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement honoree. She'll receive the prize in a primetime special January 8th on CBS and Paramount+.
He passed away this spring. We felt like the only thing that prepared us for what we've done for the last 15 years in the Army was being a part of this team. You have no fear of what you're about to step into. And in fact, you're confronting it, stepping towards it. Right? That's not normal.
Brothers on 3 looks at the West Point rugby team as young men prepare to be soldiers and leaders in a unique Division I athletic program. The documentary opens in theaters Friday ahead of Veterans Day next week. Locations and more info at brothersonthreefilm.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We have earnings reports from several big Canadian companies today, including Canadian Tire. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more on that.
The retailer reported lower profit in its third quarter. Canadian Tire blames restructuring and other costs for the drop. The company's renovating stores and reorganizing its business, but sales are up at 2 other retail businesses it owns, Sport Chek and Mark's. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 70.84. West Texas Intermediate crude is down slightly to 59.43. Western Canadian Select also down over $1 to 48.07. And the TSX dropped another 234 points today to move back under 30,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $2.22, closing the day at $39.7709 U.S. an ounce. Silver up 1 cent to end the day at $48.03. Copper down 2 cents, and nickel up a penny, ending the day at $6.76 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Friday weather.
Okay, again, we're back to a semblance of some nicer weather, with the exception of Timmins and that Highway 11 corridor. Let's check out some of the conditions for tomorrow. Rain in Greater Sudbury, Timmins. Well, we've got lots of snow coming up, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. Sault Ste. Marie, we've got rain, 8 degrees as well. So again, moving on over to North Bay, we've got rain in the forecast. Parry Sound, more rain and snow rain. Could be a lot worse. We could have a lot of snow, but Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Hearst, it's going to be a shovel day tomorrow. Tony, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. And finally, schools across our region are holding Remembrance Day services leading up to November 11th. And as CTV's Angela Gemmel reports, some Legion members are making sure students understand why.
We will remember them.
The students at St. Charles Catholic Elementary School in Chelmsford repeat back to the Sergeant at Arms leading their annual Remembrance Day service.
I really like the Remembrance Day services because I find them really calming. To me, it means like remembering people who fought for us and like what they did.
The school's ceremony included typical elements of a traditional Remembrance Day service, with students taking part alongside members from Legion Branch 553.
Now we bow our heads for 2 minutes of silence.
The Legion members took time to explain elements like the different flags being used and even answered questions from the students.
We don't want the kids to forget, all our past veterans that gave their ultimate sacrifice, their lives, to protect our freedom. And that's the message I think I'm trying to relay every time I come every year, how costly it was for us to be liberated and free.
As I said in the service, nothing pleases me more than to see children remembering. They really were paying attention, listening, they were curious, they had lots of good questions, and it was a pleasure to be in front of them.
The students even made special artwork that ordained the walls of the gymnasium during the ceremony.
I think it's we really need to remember all those people that fought and died for us. Kids that don't know much about the military and that kind of stuff. It's a good way for them to learn.
Next Tuesday, the entire country will take time to remember the 2 million who have served and continue to serve. It's a lesson new generations continue to learn about and understand the importance of. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Chelmsford.
And thanks for watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.